Taking a chance here on recording while also uploading. I'm sure I've done it before. The videos that I've uploaded to YouTube are still not in chronological order. I never do seem to make it to any chronological order. So a sort of précis of what it is I'm trying to say. It did start out as an autobiography, and it very quickly turned into a biography of my father and ultimately my mother as well. My father being born, so it seems, Desmond Oakley, and adopting the alias Dick Oakley at the end of World War II. Making him, just by the way, one of two men with the surname Oakley who adopted the alias of Dick, and neither was called Richard at birth. One was Desmond and the other was Herbert Frederick, and they both adopted this alias of Dick while keeping the surname of Oakley. Anyway, where it began for me was in infancy. There is quite a lot of evidence to suggest that my father abused me from about the age of 18 months. And I'm talking various degrees of sexual abuse and physical abuse. By the time I was 4, there were very visible signs that of physical damage. It's to be visible in photos, that is. By the time I was 6, I had abandoned my bedroom and crawled into my mother's bed, which unfortunately at that time was also my father's bed. So I wound up sandwiched between them with him behind me. Take a guess what he did from behind. A couple of things, actually. Well, one is called thighing and the other is called buggery. Quite how my mother didn't wake up, I'm really not sure. That didn't last all that long, because I'm talking about a period immediately after we moved into an address called 21 Forest Hills Drive, which was on my brother's 13th birthday, so I was 6. Within the next 6 months or so, my father had moved to London 5 days a week, so at least he was only home at weekends to torment me. I have talked separately about his life in London, which was colourful to say the very least. Different families, different women, different children, and different criminal activities. So my mother, by the way, blamed me for my father leaving. "You've driven him away," she said. Possibly because I'd found a way pretty much to escape him at night by being in my mother's bed. But the arrangement, I have to say, seemed to suit her as well. She never told me to go back to my own. And that meant that he got to me on, as I've said in the other videos, Sunday mornings, Christmas Day mornings, and any other holiday where he could get to me in the daytime. But that was the sexual abuse. He was a sadist. My pets vanished one by one with various implausible explanations for their deaths or disappearances. It was a sadism that took a lot of different forms, like promising me a puppy and then telling me that I actually picked the puppy out, and then telling me that I couldn't have it after all because my mother had said no. Of course, that was also a divide and conquer strategy. My mother got the blame for that, and he did it with every single member of the family. He drove wedges between us all, had us at each other's throats. Latterly, well, okay, sadism. It was really cold-blooded sadism. It always had a purpose, a purpose that suited him very well. Like, for example, giving me crab lice just before my O-levels, so I only passed 2 of those. Years later, I took A-levels, which I mistakenly called O-levels on one video. Many years later, and he took me to court for loan access with my younger daughter just before I took my A-levels. And it was a protracted court case because I was fighting every step of the way. This might sound odd. I have said it on other videos that I haven't published. But his murder of Fiona Green, my stepsister, took place when I was 4 months into my degree. And after 2 of his murders, that of my mother and that of Fiona, he phoned me. And didn't phone either the police or an ambulance or a doctor, nor did he attempt artificial, resuscitation or respiration. In fact, on both those occasions, he did absolutely nothing except phone me. Things which were bound to haunt me for the rest of my life, for a start. How could they not? There were just so many ways in which he was sadistic, and I have to say, not just to me. He would play little tricks on, sorry, Michael, my brother, and I felt terribly sorry for him. He'd say he'd got a gift for him, and it would turn out to be a potato in a bag or something. Or it would be the other way round. My brother saved from his first wage packet to get my father a watch for Christmas, and I don't know how my father knew that he was getting a watch from my brother, but he bought himself one just before Christmas. And, of course, on both those occasions, my brother's face was a picture that I wouldn't really want to. I just felt so sorry for him. I sometimes wonder if my brother thinks that I was the one who gave the game away and said, Mike's getting a watch for Christmas. I never did. Don't know how he knew. He had this way of sort of passing it off as thoughtlessness. And my mother would do the same. Oh, Dickie dear, you're so thoughtless. Or she'd say, oh, Dickie dear, you're such a liar, in tones of deep affection. What Dickie dear actually was a sadistic paedophile and a murderer. That's as good a Precis as any.